Happy NBA Draft Lottery Eve. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. The Draft Lottery takes place tomorrow night as our butt cheeks all get a little bit tighter because we await to see if the Mavs either keep the number 10 pick or move up into the top 4 or tragically fall outside of the top 10, which means that pick would convey to New York. They have a 3% chance of landing the number 1 pick and, of course, drafting Victor Wembanyama. Here are the lottery odds. Number 1 pick, like I just said, 3% chance. Number 2 pick, 3.3%. Number 3, 3.6%. Number 4 pick, 4%. So you add that up, you got about a 14% chance to jump into the top 4. 0 chance of going 5 to 9. You either jump to the top 4, stay at 10, or fall 11 to 14. 66% about to stay at number 10. So that's the heavy favorite. 19% to fall to 11, 1.2% to fall to 12, and slightly greater than 0% to fall to 13 or 14, because that would mean all of 11, 12, and either 13 or 14 would jump into the top 4, therefore sliding Dallas down that far. Jeffrey, producer Coop, we are really right around 24 hours away, 25 hours away from finding out what happens in the lottery. Are the good vibes there? It's a nervy time for the Dallas Mavericks.
I don't know if the good vibes are there. I gotta wait to see what my Stars do tonight. If the Stars win, the vibes are good. If they lose, the pick is not the Mavs.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I think you know what I'm gonna ask. Would you rather the Stars win tonight or the Mavs keep their pick, or at least get the 10th pick?
If it was the 10th pick, I'm picking the Stars.
Okay,
if
number
it was
4
pick. If it was only the number 1 pick, would I take that pick?
So you would take a Star. I get where you're coming from. Like, if I was a diehard Stars fan, unless it was to get Wemby, like, I'd rather have the Stars win tonight in advance, but it's a tough call. It's obviously a big night, though, Coop. I mean,
absolutely.
It really dictates how this offseason could go. And I don't even mean moving into the top 4, just keeping 10 or losing it, because if you lose it, it's obviously one less tradable asset you have. I mean, if that pick conveys to New York, it becomes harder to try and make a trade this offseason for an all-star. So it's important. You hope you at least get that 10th pick there.
It's a big night for the trajectory of the franchise, whether they get it or not. You really would like them to get it just to make sure they have an extra asset they can use this offseason. If they don't get it, it obviously completes the Kristaps Porzingis trade. But I think I'd just rather keep the pick, see what you can do with it this year, whether it's drafting someone or you're trading it on draft night for something else.
Yep.
It's a big night for the Mavs, and hopefully they don't screw it up one way or the other.
Well, some conspiracy theorists would say, well, they tanked, which means they're going to lose the pick.
Who would say that?
People out there. There's always people out there. You know how it is. Okay, will the Mavs keep their pick? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I mean, the percentages say they will. I mean, 2/3 chance to stay at 10. Now, there's a better chance to drop out of the top 10 than to move up into the top 4, so take that for what it's worth. Y for yes, in for no. Go ahead and let
I'm typing
us
my N.
know.
I'm not feeling good.
Oh no. Coop's got the bad vibes. I'll be half glass full. I'm typing YY for yes. Subscribe to the channel. We'll have a video out tomorrow, regardless of what happens. Producer Coop and I believe Will Scott will break down the news of if the Mavs move up, if they fall out, if they stay at 10. They'll have you guys covered. So be on the lookout for that here on Mavericks Today. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. If they were to keep the number 10 pick, maybe that's part of a trade package to land DeAndre Ayton. We'll talk about Ayton next here on Mavericks Today. NBA Insider talking about Ayton potentially being a fit in Dallas, and we'll talk about this further, but I think one thing has become pretty clear is that Ayton's time in Phoenix might be up. Here's Kevin O'Connor saying, how about Dallas? He needs somebody that can continue to push him and motivate him. Maybe a Luka Doncic in Dallas could make sense. A fresh start could be good for Ayton. I think he needs a fresh start outside of Phoenix. I just don't know where else that is. What team I'd feel super comfortable with, considering everything he said pre-career and everything we've seen since he signed that deal. And Coop, you know me, I'm pretty lukewarm on Ayton. Is there a scenario where I would take him? Yeah, because, I mean, look, you sign him or you trade for him and you bring back Kyrie. I mean, he's pretty clearly your third best player in that scenario.
For sure.
So he helps the roster. The question is, how much does he help? Does he help you in the months of April, May, and potentially June? That's the question I have. I think he's done some good things in Phoenix. I don't think he's had a major impact on them in the playoffs. I'm curious to see if you agree or disagree on that. But I think one thing is clear, that him and the Suns probably need a split at this point.
I mean, how the last 2 seasons have gone, especially with the way they got destroyed in the playoffs by the Mavericks last year, and then they lose at home to the Nuggets again this year. Obviously, Ayton tried to leave in free agency when he signed an offer sheet with the Pacers, which the Suns immediately matched. And then early on in that summer, he was asked, "Are you happy to be back in Phoenix?" He goes, "I'm all right." After signing a $133 million contract. I think I'd be pretty happy, but that's neither here nor there. He obviously doesn't want to be in Phoenix. I think that's pretty clear. Look, he's a good player. He had an okay playoffs, 13 points, almost 10 rebounds, almost a block a game, good from the field, but I just don't think it's meshing well with Phoenix, and I think he's going to get a new start in Phoenix. Maybe Chris Paul does as well, and you'll be looking at a new-look Phoenix Suns.
My biggest problem with Ayton, Coop, is the numbers will tell you he has not improved over the last couple of years. I'm not saying he's gotten worse, but he's kind of just flatlined. And B, I haven't seen that drive from him to want to improve. Now, is that just him wanting out of Phoenix? Like he wanted to go to Indiana and become more of a focal point? Maybe. And if he goes to Dallas, he's definitely your focal point big man. So maybe, he gets some more low post touches and stuff like that. You run more pick and roll, pick and pop game with him than Phoenix did. But guys like this scare me, Coop, because are you trading for a guy that lacks motivation?
Yeah.
Or are you trading for a guy who has a ton of motivation? He just needs a new situation.
It's a complete unknown. You don't know if the lack of motivation is because he just doesn't want to be there, or if that's just how he is as a player.
Well, it's like he signed his max. It's like he's got his money.
Exactly.
He could just coast and be like, I'll just be an above average NBA player and be happy with that.
But maybe he wants out of Phoenix, and that fresh start that everyone's talking about will boost him, and maybe it'll elevate his game. It's possible. I know Tim McMahon of ESPN said that Ayton would like a fresh start. He said Ayton would be excited about a fresh start with another franchise. The Suns are expected to aggressively explore the trade market for him this summer. So it's clear that the Suns and him are kind of on the same page. It's like, look, this isn't working out. We'll see what your market looks like, and maybe we'll try to move on from you this summer.
And look, I think Phoenix was smart in matching the offer sheet because they knew even if it didn't work out, they'd be able to trade him for something. So they're going to get something for him. I wonder what that trade looks like. Like, hypothetically, if you keep the 10th pick, is it something like number 10, Bertans and Hardaway? Like, does that
basically
do it? Like, I wouldn't give up more than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
A top 10 pick for a player who's good but not great on a max deal, like a couple of salary fillers. I'm not giving up Josh Green or Jaden Hardy in an Ayton trade.
I'm with you.
I'm not doing that. So I think that's the type of trade you're looking at there. Should the Mavs trade for Ayton now? Talking about it now, I probably would consider that. I don't love Ayton, but number 10 pick's a complete unknown. Hardaway and Bertans, they are what they are. Neither of them is improving at this point in their careers. Hardaway's a guy who can contribute on a winning team. We know Bertans is not. So I would probably consider that trade, but I'm not giving up Green and I'm not giving up Hardy. Type T for trade, P for pass. Let me know what you guys think. All right, let's get to some coaching rumors, and then we'll sign off. Jason Kidd's still looking for an assistant, or is it one or two assistants?
They have 2 bench openings.
2 bench openings that they're trying to fill after some changes. Some notable names out there, Coop. James Borrego with Charlotte. Most recently, Jeff Hornacek. Frank Vogel, which I think there's a lot of natural connection there. He was the head coach when Kidd was his top assistant, could flip roles there. And then Steven Silas, who recently is reportedly drawing interest from the Celtics to be a bench coach there.
It sounds like he's going to be on Joe Mazzulla's staff next year. That's obviously not done yet, but that's what, as some would say, word is.
Yeah.
Obviously the Mavs want a bench coach with experience. Preferably one that has experience on the offensive end as well, because I think that's kind of where Jason Kidd ended up struggling. So he's looking for someone who, 1, has been a head coach, and 2, has an offensive mindset to where that he can elevate Luka Doncic in this offense.
Any chance Igor Kokoshkov returns, or is that ship sailed?
I think it's possible, but I don't know exactly how that ended with him in Kidd year 1. He obviously left for Brooklyn, but maybe he saw a quicker path to being a head coach, despite them naming Jacques Vaughn over him.
Yep.
Igor's a possibility. I could see someone like that as well. There's still plenty of names out there, and obviously, as we found out recently, the coaching cycle is not done yet either. So there still could be some more firings that we don't know about. And it's possible that we could see someone that's not even on the radar now.
I mean, that's what's crazy too. It's like you think, Doc Rivers, he could be next. So, I mean, you think about the head coach openings out there. Milwaukee, you've got potentially Philadelphia, Phoenix, obviously Toronto. Those are all pretty good jobs. Detroit, if they get the number one pick, is, I think, a very good job with their young nucleus and getting Victor as well. So a lot of movement still to come on the coaching front. So something to monitor. I think the Mavs probably get through this draft lottery and wait for the head coaching kind of stuff to kind of settle in before they kind of fill out their bench. All right, name someone kids should hire. I'm just going to throw one more name, too. If you want to get an offensive guy, D'Antoni is an offensive bench coach?
Yeah, I mean, he was an assistant. Was it in Brooklyn this year?
He was with Brooklyn, I think. I know he was last year. I'd have to go double check.
But, yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. Experience? I mean, there's not many more bright offensive minds in the history of basketball than Mike D'Antoni, so you could do worse.
It'd be fascinating. You know what else it would create? It would create a mid-season firing of kid if things don't work out.
Oh, yes.
D'Antoni's the guy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness. All right, Coop. We'll check in with you guys tomorrow. Again,
rub your crystal balls.
Yeah, exactly. Good vibes. Stars tonight. Draft lottery tomorrow. Need the good vibes in Dallas. We'll see you guys then.